Martina was 36 years old, and to anyone who knew her superficially, she seemed to have a perfect life. She worked as an engineer in one of the most prestigious technology companies in the country, a role that had guaranteed her not only a successful career, but also a financial independence that allowed her to live peacefully. Before continuing, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell. Her professional life was the result of years of commitment and dedication. She had graduated with top marks, obtained a coveted position in her sector, and climbed the corporate ladder thanks to her competence and determination. With an excellent salary, a modern and well-furnished apartment in one of the most exclusive areas of the city, and a consolidated network of friends and professional contacts, Martina seemed to have achieved everything one could wish for from a professional and personal point of view. Yet, behind her facade of success and self-esteem, there had always been a void that Martina could not ignore. Her life, however fulfilled, often seemed incomplete. Her career, although important, was no longer enough. She wanted true love, a person with whom she could share the joys and challenges of everyday life, someone who would be by her side in good times and difficult times. After years of putting work first, Martina had begun to feel the need for a deeper emotional bond, one that would give her the serenity and balance that only a relationship based on love and respect could offer. And so, when she met Alesandro 7 months earlier, everything seemed to change. Alesandro was a charming, thoughtful, and kind man who had managed to win Martina's heart with small gestures of attention and affection. Unlike many other men she had met, Alesandro seemed to truly understand her. He was able to listen to her, offer her emotional support, and make her feel authentically loved. Martina had let herself go, starting to build dreams and plans for a future together. She had begun to imagine a life where there was not only work, but also a marriage, a family, a house full of laughter and love. Her parents, also successful entrepreneurs, had welcomed the news of the new relationship with enthusiasm. They had always been the pillar on which Martina could count at every moment of her life. They had taught her the value of commitment and dedication, but also the importance of never giving up on your dreams, whatever they were. When Martina had told them about Alesandro, they were happy for her. They saw their daughter finally happy, and they had done everything to support her. The relationship with Alesandro seemed to be going swimmingly. In the first few months, the two had built a solid bond, made of small moments of complicity and big promises for the future. Martina trusted him and felt that, for the first time, she could truly imagine a future as a couple. But just when everything seemed to be going well, their relationship began to show unexpected cracks. After a long week of work abroad, Martina came home eager to relax and spend time with Alesandro. It had been an exhausting week, and all she wanted was the tranquility of her apartment and the company of her partner. But when she opened the door to her house, what she found was far from what she had expected. Her home, her refuge, had completely changed. Suitcases, objects, and clothes that did not belong to her or Alesandro filled every corner of the living room. Shocked and confused, Martina tried to understand what was happening. "Laura, what are you doing here?" asked Martina, seeing Alessandro's mother sitting comfortably on the sofa. Laura, with disarming calm, answered her as if it were the most normal thing in the world. "I moved, Martina. I'll stay in the room on the second floor, your old room." Alesandro agrees. Those words hit Martina like a punch in the stomach. Transferred? And she didn't know anything about it. How could Alesandro make such an important decision without even speaking to her? "And why don't I know anything about it?" Martina asked, incredulous. Laura, without flinching, answered her in a cold tone. "Alesandro pays the rent, so he's the one who decides. I didn't need to ask your permission." Martina couldn't believe what was happening. Her apartment, her house, now seemed to no longer belong to her. Her life, which until that moment had been orderly and under control, was crumbling before her eyes. Shocked, she decided to call Alesandro immediately. She had to get an explanation. "Hello, Alesandro?" he began in a voice that he tried to keep calm, even though he felt anger rising inside. "I just found your mother here. She told me she moved. Is it true that she's planning to live with us?" he asked, hoping there had been a misunderstanding. "Yes, it's true," Alesandro replied coldly. "What's the problem? I don't see why you should worry." Martina was speechless. "The problem is that you didn't tell me anything. How can you make a decision like that without consulting me?" she retorted, her voice cracking with frustration. Alesandro, however, seemed completely indifferent. "I don't see the problem, Martina. I pay the rent, so it's my decision. There's nothing to talk about." Those words hurt her deeply. It wasn't just the practical issue of living with Alessandro's mother, but the fact that he hadn't given her any importance in such an important decision. Martina understood that something had broken irreparably between them. The respect and consideration that she thought were the basis of their relationship had vanished. With a heavy heart, Martina made a difficult but inevitable decision. She packed her bags and returned to her parents, knowing that the relationship could no longer continue. Her parents welcomed her with warmth and understanding. Her mother, seeing her so upset, said to her, "You can stay here as long as you want, Martina. This is your home too." Those words were a relief for Martina, who finally felt understood and protected. In the days that followed, Martina reflected on everything that had happened. She thought about their relationship, about all the times Alesandro had shown signs of selfishness, which she had ignored. The issue of the house, which her parents had offered them at a symbolic price, became the symbol of their failure. Alesandro had complained about having to pay rent, as if he were entitled to live for free in a luxury house. Martina realized that Alesandro was not the man she thought he was. His arrogance and lack of respect for her and her family were unacceptable. After that realization, she decided to focus on herself and start over. She found a new apartment close to work and gradually rebuilt her life. The separation was painful but liberating. She regained her independence and self-esteem and realized that self-respect was the most important thing. Her career continued to thrive, and over time, she learned not to compromise her values. She had finally understood that love, to be true, had to be based on dialogue and respect, and she would no longer compromise with someone who was not willing to give her all of this. Now Martina felt ready to face the future with or without a partner at her side, strong in the knowledge that she could only count on herself. Did you like this story? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and see you next story.